been looking for the different things in my last video to be able to show you guys just for a better reference. So this is the 700 Club. This lady's going to explain to you about why people do not agree with A, abortion, and B, the history behind it with this horrible woman and what you are voting for. Seriously, it's so much more than Trump or politics. There's a beautiful man, and I cannot think of his name right now, but these are our little beautiful baby blessings. And you've got to understand that this woman did not want anybody but a pure race to be able to have children. Me, a person with disabilities, if you have disabilities, if you are Black, she wanted, if you have gotten any type of criminal trouble, this lady was insane. And I just need you to remember that going into watching this, that these are the Democrats that back her, okay? And I will, in the next video of this, sit there and show you multiple different clips of people and candidates, celebrities that have endorsed this horrible, horrible woman. And I don't try and call anybody Hitler because I can't stand when people do that to Donald Trump. Not even towards him, but to the people who are Holocaust survivors, the Jews that have been through the genocide. It's so belittling. It's horrific to even make the comparison. So without further ado, let's get into this. As we all know, Brandon Tatum.
Of the American Birth Control League, which later became Planned Parenthood, Margaret Sanger was no doubt a controversial figure with disturbing views on eugenics, race, and population control. While some argue she even wanted to exterminate the Black race, others are trying to erase that part of her past.
The Mike Wallace interview. In the eyes of some, Margaret Sanger has been a heroine. In the eyes of others, she's been a destructive force.
In her own words, Sanger pushed for a society that limited births to those she deemed fit to have children.
I think the greatest sin in the world is bringing children into the world that have disease from their parents, that have no chance in the world to be a human being, practically. Delinquents, prisoners, all sorts of things just marked when they're born.
In 1916, Sanger opened the country's first...
Marked. I wonder, woman's dead now. I wonder what she meant marked. Marked by birth. It's interesting. It's just, I just find it really curious the way that woman just stated that, though. Marked by birth. Or even before birth. I'm serious. People don't get it. And it's not our fault. It's just that we did not get taught the things we should know.
Birth control clinic. As a member of the American Eugenics Society, she advocated improving the genetic composition of humans through controlled reproduction of different races and classes. She often wrote about the issue in the journal she founded, called the Birth Control Review. In 1919, writing,
I personally believe in the sterilization of the feeble-minded, the insane, and the syphilitic. The most urgent problem today is how to limit and discourage the over-fertility of the mentally and physically defective.
Many point to a 1923 New York Times interview as proof of Sanger's racist motives, in which she referred to people as weeds, saying,
It means the release and cultivation of the better racial elements in our society and the gradual suppression, elimination, and eventual extirpation of defective stocks, those human weeds which threaten the blooming of the finest flowers of American civilization.
Hayden Ludwig, an
She's
investigative
just so
researcher.
freaking evil. Okay. Another thing is that I wanted to say, that's why I didn't want to sit there and keep pausing it, but I have to just for copyright issues and stuff because this is not from my YouTube channel. This is from the 700 Club. You guys can go watch it if you don't want me to keep interjecting. But it's also been found out. Okay, we can't have male birth control. There's I'd have to get into that in a totally different episode, but there's reasons for it. But they have found out that there are actual studies that not only is birth control making women infertile, like used to take the Depo-Provera shot, and for many years there's lawsuits and stuff going on. I've even looked into it. That can hurt women's reproductive, give them reproductive issues. There's so many bad things when it comes to it. And I was always under the general idea when I was younger that birth control is good because, you know, you're preventing a pregnancy from being early and yada, yada, yada. And we should, you know, not everyone's going to listen to, you know, to not have sex because kids are going to have sex when they're teenagers. And it's just part of growing up. And so you think that that's the best alternative, you know, but then come to find out as I was 15, you know, getting on birth control, and there's many, even girls get on birth control for acne reasons. Anyways, or for their periods to start, or because their periods are too heavy. There's multiple reasons why birth control was suggested and put forth to young girls and mothers of young girls. And of course, you know, like dads don't necessarily have a whole lot to do with that. Nowadays, they definitely do. It's wonderful now. The amount of men that are just taking up. I honestly feel like men, and I go into that too later, are trying to save the babies even more so than the freaking women of today's generation. Anywho, birth control can not only make you sit there and sick, can hurt your fertility, can sit there and this is the most, I gotta be careful what I say, fudged up part about this whole thing. It can make you pick feminine freaking men. There are proven studies that says that women who are on birth control get with a mate, marry them, have kids. And then they believe that part of the reason this is happening is because when they were on the birth control, because they stopped taking it, because women have babies, they get older, they get their tubes tied. Okay? If you've already done it. I have my tubes tied. I have 2 kids. I have no reason to be on birth control. I have my husband. I don't need to, and I don't want another baby. That's a thing for me that I choose for myself. And I even went and opted for a doctor that made sure that there's no chance of me getting pregnant. She did it for people who were religious that sat there and did not want to go through the horrors of getting your tubes tied and then having a lot of miscarriages. I have had my tubes tied for now 5 years and had nothing. So, anyways, nothing happened. And that's part of the reason why she did. Why she even went through multiple consultations with me just to make sure I only wanted those 2 children. And regardless of how many kids you want, that's not the point. These women would get married because their brains were functioning pretty much differently because of the drugs that they were given. And then picking feminine like spouses, marrying them, having children with them, and then later on going, oh wait, because they're off of it, they're not attracted to their spouse. It's almost like a hatred they build up. And anyways, that's just part of a study that I have read. I'm just sitting there and explaining my theory on what's going on with that part, with the birth control movement. And anyways, and if you want to get into the fact that like why, I do think it's odd. Like, so we have all this science, but you tell me men can't have birth control? There's reasons to it. So if there are reasons to why men can't, why would women be able to? See what I'm saying? Anyways, it's gone.
Researcher has extensively studied Sanger's life and writings.
I have to look
She
him up.
talked about
I
the
didn't know
need
my
for race betterment through controlling these weeds, basically undesirable people.
In 1939, after opening another clinic in Harlem, the birth control activist launched the Negro Project, an initiative supported by Black leaders, such as civil rights activist W.E.B. Du Bois. Mm-hmm. Critics claim the program used the pretense of better health and family planning for poor Blacks in the South as an attempt to limit the Black race. Ludwig says some on the left grapple with Sanger's past and how to interpret her legacy.
They know when she writes about human weeds, they know that it's repulsive. They know it's disgusting. The left will never abandon Margaret Sanger because if they do, she's the foundation of so many of their views.
Got it.
Sanger once shared her vision for a preferred race at a women's branch of the Ku Klux Klan, writing in her autobiography,
"Always, to me, any aroused group was a good group."
Despite those views, liberals...
Think of the connection, you guys. Any roused group is a good group. Think of everything that has gone down since Trump's been in office, the pandemic, everything. There is a way that they control the masses. And there's a reason why we don't learn about this stuff. Weeds, human weeds. Do you feel like a human weed? Because I know I'm not. I know I'm different, but I know I'm not a human weed. How could you dare sit there? And okay, I have nothing against people that don't know this, but how could you dare sit there and support this and know the history behind this woman and behind abortion? Because I've talked to somebody that does know it, knew, and said, well, that's not what it is today. Just because you put a new dress on, it doesn't make it any different. Hello? Just because I can go outside, go get a chicken, and go put a cow outfit on it, doesn't make it a damn cow. Okay, let's just, if it acts like a duck, quacks like a duck, it's a mother duck. Anyways, I get really, really frustrated.
Praise Sanger's work while ignoring her history.
I admire Margaret Sanger enormously. Her courage, her tenacity, her vision. I am really in awe of her.
Ryan Baumberger, founder of the radio.
If you knew this and still agree with her, I know there's a lot of people, they have got it so bad. I have to make sure my husband understands because he is very much just even more so than I am. We do not believe in abortion unless it is against the mother's life and the baby's life. That's the only... That's what it is for us. If you don't know this, I can understand. Because it's been so hidden. I didn't know this. I used to be a Democrat. This is nothing new. They buried everything for us to not know our history. Anyways, and so I have to even remind my husband that, look, because he's forgetting how old we are now compared to being 15. When we used to hear all this crap. They have embedded, I had to explain to them how young this generation, look, they're embedded with this. They don't even remember what we knew, what we still know. The stuff that we know is going on and has been going on for years. So you are trying to preach to children that honestly think it's a zygote or not a living being or it's not the same species. I mean, come on. I get it. It's frustrating. I have to remind him, but now we have to reteach ourselves and reteach our children so that our children do not grow up and go through this again. I can only press that this doesn't happen. Literally, the election was last night and Donald Trump won. Thank the Lord. We bring God's love and peace back to our country to make America great again. But what I'm telling you is if we do not keep sitting there and making sure that each lineage, if you are my age right now, or you are younger or older, I'm telling you, if you have children and grandchildren and great-grandchildren, and even if you don't yet and you believe this, you need to be teaching them this. Do not stop with just your children. Make sure you teach your children. Make sure you teach your grandchildren. Make sure you teach your great-grandchildren. Write it down in journals so that later on when your children don't remember anything, well, pretty much the internet is a giant journal, but they could always wipe that away. So keep things documented in your house, have things written down. I love that. Make sure your family knows where they came from and knows what you saw so that none of this gets forgotten again.
His foundation says abortion proponents are working to clean up Sanger's past and what she stood for.
They have to reinvent her every time they talk about her in order to justify their celebration of her.
Former Planned Parenthood director Abby Johnson says those inside the abortion industry are trained to overlook Sanger's racist views. They give you an answer like, well,
Yep,
I mean,
Abby Johnson.
Yes, Margaret Sanger was a racist, but everybody was a racist back then.
Yeah, but then they love going back in other people's history and be like, you were founded on racism. Anyways, but I have another video, actually. I think it's on here. I'm almost positive. It might have been on Facebook, so I don't want to lie. Anyways, I've called Planned Parenthood. I've talked to them. I even asked because I was switching from being a Democrat to a Republican, or I call myself a conservative independent. That's just me because I go based off of not being a Republican. I used to be a Democrat. I was like, now I'm going more independent. I think a lot of people that switch sides ended up sitting there and having the same gradual move over like I did, especially now you don't want to be drastic, do it because you just got fooled over here. So you're not trying to go, all the way, hard right. Because you don't want to get tricked again. So your information you're absorbing, you're looking at this side, you're looking at that side, you're using your brain, your rationality to make sure, this don't best to sniff test. Sorry, I had a little hiccup. So when you're sitting there and you're going through this, because I know that it was hard for me to leap over. My religious views, honestly, is what my religious views, how I grew up, the way I view things, my friends and family. These are the things that I know impacted me. And especially right around to switch over to change. And so I kept looking and I focused on the fundamental things. Actually, my mom sat there and asked me a wonderful question when I was trying to switch over. She was not trying to be forceful, not at all. She was literally trying to do the right thing, even though she's a very, very hard Republican. And my dad is very, very hard Democrat. I think the only right-leaning view that my dad holds is guns. But in saying that, me and my husband were trying to learn. I dived into it, rabbit hole. My husband he kept hearing it around me, kept saying, and then he, started looking, I'm going to look into it myself, and then going down that line. And then he became a Trump supporter too. And he even gets weary with Trump because he's just like, I don't know. He still feels that he's one of the rich and powerful and could be pulled back at any time. And I think that's what scares him the most. Anyways, I was terrified to even call myself that word because I knew the one side of my family and I knew the other. And I've always been a bold person. I do not care. If I believe something, I believe something. And I'm going to do my research because I'm a factual-based person. I like facts. I like facts so much. Like, I should have been a lawyer, but I couldn't do it because I was crazy when I was a child and being a hooligan. Anyways, my point is that you have to keep finding and finding and finding more evidence and you go, holy crap. Yeah. Well, she asked me those questions and I lined it. I'm rambling. She sat there and asked me, do you believe in abortion? No. Do you believe that college should be free for everyone? She said, do you believe, I'm blanking right here. She asked me a whole bunch of different critical issues, like, do you agree in gay marriage? They were profound things that she asked me that were like headed questions. Do you believe we should fund wars? Do you believe in the government having heavy influence in your life? Do you believe in high taxes? Just lots of stuff. And I answered them. And she said, you were really leaning very independent leaning. She said, you seem more conservative leaning-ish. She said, but I really think you should go do your own research, baby girl. Now, contrast to my father and my aunt and the other side of my family, which I love you guys if you're watching. I love you, love you, love you. I do. And I want to make sure that even if they have their opinion, I have mine. You can't get everyone to be open to change. It's very hard. Very, very hard. And I'm not going to lose my family over it. I just, no. Anyways, so even if they are more, it seems like they're less understanding, and I think they would cut me off about politics, and I wouldn't. Anyways, when the stark contrast from my mom explaining it, and then even mentioning the word to my dad or my aunt, just lost it. And I mean, there was no even having a conversation. Not why do you feel so? It was, how dare you even think of this thought process? What is wrong with you? How dare you even look? Is the kind of the feel like I'm being dramatic, but that was what it was. It was my mom sitting down and me wanting to know and having a very nice little debate while we were hanging out versus just, how dare you even have a thought in your brain? Why would you even question that? Why would you even try and look into that? I'm getting off topic, but view it for yourself.
Accept it.
That's what,
because she is your hero. And she has to be your hero. You cannot question Planned Parenthood.
For them, guys.
In 1997, Stephen Mosher of the Population Research Institute wrote about the push to repackage Margaret Sanger in the Wall Street Journal.
The reason I call it the repackaging of Margaret Sanger is because after the Nazi regime destroyed the legitimacy of eugenics forever, they then went back and said, oh, she was just an early feminist. She was just an early supporter of family planning. No, she wasn't. Now, she was a supporter of giving IQ tests to people. She was in favor of using those IQ tests to determine who should be sterilized and who should have children.
In a response titled The Demonization of Margaret Sanger, Alexander Sanger, her grandson and president of Planned Parenthood at the time, called Mosher's editorial unfair. In the same piece, Esther Katz, director of NYU's Margaret Sanger Papers Project, claimed evidence revealing Sanger did not rationalize her support for birth control on racist grounds, that she never advocated genocidal policies aimed at racial, ethnic, or religious groups, and that she, in fact, believed access to birth control would benefit, not eliminate minority populations.
They just lied. They just watched. Oh, gosh. This is what I'm talking about, you guys. And it's just so freaking terrible that we have to go through this, and that this has to be a thing for us. Wait 1 second. I don't know how to help other people try and view it. I tried sitting there and showing someone, very loving person, and the person I love very deeply, that's a very, very hard Democrat, the video of the cats on the grill, the Haitian migrants, all that. It's like, and I'm only talking about this in a birth control video because of the fact that it is, you can't get, I want to be able to help my family or friends to just see it. Just watch the video. I don't want you to pick my side. Just please watch this. I never actually experienced watching a Democrat run away. And I've been doing politics for 7 years, guys, 7 years. I have interacted with a lot of people, left, right, center, it didn't matter. And I have never seen it in real life, someone run away from me, especially a family member. They wouldn't watch video. They wouldn't watch it. They wouldn't watch it. She was like, I can't believe that you think they're actually doing that. And I'm like, I got a video of it on my phone. I was like, I made sure to download it so that it didn't get deleted off the internet because I knew that it might get scrubbed, which a lot of people have to do now, unfortunately. And then I said, no, I have it right here. And she literally got up. I'm telling you, I mean, it was like the fear of God struck through my family member. And she just got up and went out, tried to get out the door. I'm trying to go to her and go, are you seriously won't watch it? Like, I have evidence and you won't watch it. And just for yourself, tell me if you believe that is a cat on a grill right there, a skinned cat on a grill. She literally calling me crazy, like, I can't. And I'm like, you don't have to call me crazy. Just watch the video and see for yourself what you see. Wouldn't watch it. Left. Our relationship has been a little bit different now. Like, I've tried, talking. She still answers her phone calls. We still talk, but not the way that we were. We were really getting really close. And even though we had those different views, and then it kind of just shifted ever since that happened. And it just, the disconnect that your brain will not let you do to unlock from this, because it all falls apart. Because if she would have watched that video and she would have saw it, she's a super big cat lover. So, if she would have watched that video and she would have sat there and saw, like, what it looks like to see an animal that was just killed on a grill. Especially if you're older. If you grew up on a farm or in the Midwest like myself. You know what it looks like, the difference between a processed piece of chicken or deer or beef. When a chicken just got plucked and then washed and by grandma and put on the grill. You just do. It's not an uncommon thing. She knew if she saw something that would look like a naked, furless cat on a grill, that it would break everything. And what she believes is true. So she couldn't watch it. And that to me is so sad. And that's how I believe they got Hitler to do what Hitler did, is that they got people to just not believe their lying eyes and ears. And it's really sad. And I want to stay, I want to be better with this relative. I really do, but I also want to press why you won't watch this video. Please, you're an intelligent woman. Someone I love deeply. Don't get it. I just don't get why she won't even watch it. Even my sibling sat there and was willing to watch certain stuff, not that. But when it came to like all the other madness going on, she would. We get in arguments, but she was at least willing to watch it. And that's how you meet a Democrat versus a leftist. And I say that with anybody that's got family, I say that with not one ill-willed bone in my body. I say it because I'm afraid that this is how you get mass people to believe in something that is A, not true, and B, where they won't even look at something and see it and go, oh my gosh, that's happening. Or, oh my gosh, that's real. Or have actual evidence go, show me. Like, that's how anybody finds out if something's real. And it's like, no, you're so caught up in this that you won't even do it.
Dr. Katz turned down our request for an interview, although in this article, the editor as public authority interpreting Margaret Sanger, she wrote, by our current highly sensitized standards, some of her attitudes and statements can be construed as racist, elitist, ethnocentric, and not politically correct. In 1942, Margaret Sanger's American Birth Control League became Planned Parenthood, which has moved to fulfill its founders' goals, helped greatly by the Supreme Court decision in Roe v. Wade.
Under the veil of secrecy and deception, 60 plus million babies have not been born because they were aborted legally since 73.
Tell them.
1/3 of that population belong to the African American community.
A frightening and telling number given.
I don't know if you guys know who that is, but I know that everybody recognizes the last name King. Yes, that is Martin Luther King's niece. And I love her. She's so sweet. And she's like best friends with Donald Trump. And she's a wonderful woman. And she is a huge abortions advocate for pro-life, the pro-life movement. And it's just, how can you, I don't understand. Like, there's even people that sit there and are like, no, we can't listen to Dr. King. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? You're trying to erase that when we grew up, people wanted to be Martin Luther King. He was the peace. Oh my gosh. And it kills me. But this woman supports Donald Trump. How do you fight for black people? But there's literally, his niece is alive today. Come on, man, make it make sense. Like, you guys are fighting Martin Luther King's niece, the lady that's on our side, Martin Luther King, and then on top of it, you guys also support hurting the Jews. It's like, come on, man. There's no way. There's no way. I feel like I'm in the Truman Show sometimes, or like I'm just in this alternate. Like, I picked up a magazine one day when I was like 14, comic book, and I ended up reading it like I did as a child and just going, and I landed in there and stayed in this alternate reality.
Blacks make up only 13% of the U.S. population. Dan Gaynor of the Media Research Center says that Sanger's true mission remains alive and well throughout today's abortion industry.
Look at the maps. See where the abortion facilities are. They are near places where people are marginalized,
yep.
People are poor, people are minority.
Yep.
And that's their target
audience.
Generation after generation, we have built.
Rich people don't need abortions. They'll just take care of their own babies. And honestly, okay, rich, regular people, not Hollywood. Good way to say that, because, like, to make a difference between the two.
Better world for our daughters.
Because of allies in the media and academia, Gaynor also points out how speech from conservatives and others about Sanger's past, Planned Parenthood practices, and abortion is often classified as hate speech.
There is nothing as close to a sacrament in the media as abortion. It is a holy writ that abortion is protected. And anybody who comes out against it, any organization, any business, anybody, the media swarm.
So does social media.
Facebook's new oversight board, and this is really concerning, has 4 co-chairs. And they're going to be the appeals board for content. Well, one of the 4 oversight board is on the board of an pro-abortion group. There's no pro-lifers. They're not there.
The problem also exists on many college campuses.
I remember at Harvard, they laughed when I was talking about the history of eugenics. And they said, that doesn't matter. Planned Parenthood is not like it was during Margaret Sanger's days.
Those who oppose her views say not true and are committed to exposing her past for future generations. Charlene Aaron, CBN News.
Oh, keep in mind that.
Guys, it was wonderful doing this with you guys. Doing YouTube, you get and any type of social media platform, you get discouraged to not make videos. But you know what? Stop for a while because, life happens. But I really do. There is something that draws me to this. There's something that makes me know that my voice needs to be heard. And then I constantly get told by friends and family that I need to too. And I'm going to, because the only person that can control my life and my future is me. And even if it don't work out and people don't even end up watching my videos, my children later on will be able to see these. I hope, as long as, the internet's not scrubbed, but they'll be able to know that I stood for something and that your voice, my voice, and everyone's voice that is on this platform or any platform out there was known, regardless of views and clicks and likes. It's not about that. It's never been about that for me. I just wish that someone would have been there to wake me up sooner. And I think that if we all would have, we wouldn't have lost so many friends, families, and relationships because of what the media has done to us for years. This is so far back, as you can see. I want to end this, though, and letting everyone know, whatever you do, don't hate people because they don't know their history. Now, if they know it, then you know what? By all means, that's when I get mean. That's when I get mad. That's where the place I live used to grow up pops out of me when I get an attitude, because it means that you're denying it for no reason when you know the truth. Now, to the people, I'm not going to have an attitude like I just did. The people that know, that don't know, pray for them. Pray for the people that you love, that you want to wake up. God is good. God is great. And if you pray for those people, I promise you, they will wake up one day. Okay? And if they don't, it sucks, but all you can do is know you tried and did your best. But pray for your family. Pray for the people that are the most wicked. Because I remember back when I was little, just you kept saying, pray for those people. They would be like, why do you care? Why do you keep trying to pray for me? And they finally got it. That it's not about us. It's about him. And it's about all them beautiful babies of every single race and every single disorder or issue or epileptic or cleft lip or any baby that has to wear a helmet for their head skull, any child that has a heart murmur, or anybody that has any malfunction, essentially, anything that went wrong. And no wonder, because all the freaking shots they've been giving us. You are worthy of life. You are worthy to be able to breathe. And no one can tell you otherwise. We live in the United States of America, and you, in your mother's womb, are a United States citizen and patriot. Life, liberty, and freedom. And if you snatch that life out of a womb, you are taking your own child's rights away from them. And they've tricked you into thinking this is okay because of inconvenience. Stop this for generations to come. Please. Keep everyone in your heart. And keep pushing forth the Lord's message. And if you are a sinner, I am a sinner. I am not perfect. You are not perfect. There are things that we do in our life. But as long as you learn from those mistakes and you keep trying, you fail the Lord, you pick it back up. You fail the Lord, you pick it back up. It's okay. We are his children and he will forgive us. As long as you have God in your heart and the right goals, ambitions, and you truly mean, no matter how many times you fail, you can get back up and grab the Lord's hand again. Everyone, I hope you guys have a blessed day. If you stay tuned to watch this entire thing, because we are at 38 minutes, thank you very, very much. Not all my videos will be this long, but I had time and I wanted to make this. It just bugs me so much, especially now that we're going to have 4 years of Trump. I'm extremely excited about it. I'm extremely excited that we didn't have to go into a civil war, essentially a civil war, but it would be, it's just your people fighting against the government. I mean, that's one of the reasons why you got to hold on to your guns and your babies for that matter. So I hope you guys all have a wonderful day. Have a blessed day, and I'll see you in another video.